What's up guys, it's Natural Emblem. I know I haven't posted in like a month now I think, but I've just had an internship that I'm doing over the summer and it's full-time and it's been taking up so much time and so much energy, and when I get home I'm just like so drained. I also just haven't known for sure what I want to be recording. So yeah, I don't know, I've just had things to do and I just haven't been able to sit down and decide what I want to record. So this video, as you can probably tell from the title, is gonna be a bunch of my all-time favorites. I love watching favorites videos because like it gives me ideas or like gives me new things to like look into and be interested in. For most of these, I'm going to be saying my top 3 favorites of all time. As you guys should probably know before I get into this, my 2 favorite genres are sci-fi and horror. So those do come up a lot in my favorites, just because like that is really what I'm interested in. If you haven't given sci-fi and or horror a try, other than like the cliche horror movie or whatever, then like you really should, because some of the best things come out of those genres. And so the first favorites I'm going to talk about are my top 3 favorite books. 2 of my top 3 favorite books I actually had to read for my sci-fi class my senior year of high school. Best class ever, loved that class so much, teacher was awesome, but I am so glad that I took that class and had to read these books because they're amazing. So I'm going to start out with my 3rd favorite, and it is Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. Here's the cover. It's about a kid who was born on Mars, and basically he raised himself on Mars and they bring him back to Earth, and I don't remember what age he is when he gets back. I want to say like 18 maybe. It could be like early 20s. He's like not that old, but he's like an adult when they bring him back, and it's just like, this is literally an insane book. Like the things, like his ideas that he comes up with, because obviously, you know, he's being introduced to all this stuff like religions and God and all this stuff, and his take on it is just like so crazy that no one would think the way that he does, or I guess like the guy who wrote this, you know, came up with this. But I mean, the extent to which he takes his ideas is just crazy, and the ending is just insane, and it's just an awesome book. My 2nd favorite book is a horror book, and it's like it's about the paranormal, and it's called Hell House, and it's by Richard Matheson, who's the same person who wrote I Am Legend. Okay, so it's 300 pages, and the first 200 pages, if you like the paranormal or, you know, investigation of the paranormal, this is already a good book. The first 200 pages, it's about, you know, this group of people, and they go to Hell House, and one of them has been there before, and he was the only one who survived out of the like 6 I think there were. There's a physicist and his wife who go, and then there's a medium who goes, and they're all just, you know, like stuck abandoned at this house basically. The physicist is trying to prove that it's not actually haunted. The medium, you know, is like, no, it's definitely haunted. And the last 100 pages are crazy. Like you read this and you're thinking like, oh, this is just gonna end, you know, like, you know, any other paranormal horror story. Nope, it's insane, like crazy, like messed up, like it's really screwed up, but it's so good. And then, as horrible as this sounds, my favorite book I don't have a copy of, and the reason for that being is like I could go and buy a brand new one from Barnes & Noble, but like I don't know why I have this like idea, like I want an old copy of it. So every single time I go to a thrift store that has like a bookshelf, or like an antique store, or anywhere that sells old books, I'm always looking for this book. And I don't know why I have this idea that I need to get an old copy of it and not a brand new one. But anyway, my favorite book is Dracula by Bram Stoker, and I had to read this. This was the other one. I had to read Stranger in a Strange Land first for my class, and this was the other one I had to read for my class. and it was just so good. Like, it's a classic for a reason. And actually right now I'm reading Frankenstein, and it's like, it's pretty good, and I can see why, you know, it became like this whole thing. But Dracula is just like, I don't know, like the writing style is amazing, like the story itself is amazing. If you've seen like a Dracula movie or something, like those don't do it justice at all. Like the book is like a whole nother level of like awesome ideas, awesome storyline, awesome characters, like everything. Like, it's a great book. I actually got out of a quiz for it because I walked into class and I was telling somebody how awesome this book was, and then the teacher walked by and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this book. And I was actually exempt from the quiz that day just because I said that, and it was awesome. And it wasn't a lie. Like, I really love that book. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to TV shows, and I have watched a lot of TV. I'm gonna say my top 3 as of right now. Some of these are newer. One of them's like really, you know, has been going on for a while, and 2 of these are like kind of newer. I've gone through stages of love for a lot of TV shows, but I think that these have just like, you know, I've watched these and it's just like such like an impact. It's like such a crazy storyline. So my first favorite is Mr. Robot. Now, it's only on its 2nd season. It's on USA, but it's so good. It's about this hacker, and he's like totally like, he has like mental issues. Like, he, you know, he talks to himself. He sees people in his head that aren't actually there. Like, I'm not 100% sure like what is going on in his head, but he's just like, he just interacts with these people that aren't there, and he takes drugs, and like, it's just like, it's crazy, you know, seeing inside his head, and he talks to us as an audience, and like, it's really cool. So he joins this group of people, and they're basically trying to sabotage like rich people, people who take from the poor or like the less fortunate, and their group is F Society. And it's just like, it's a really great show, and you really don't have to know anything about programming or hacking, or like, that's not really, you don't need to be into that specifically to be into the show. It's just like such a good show. My second favorite is Supernatural. Now, this has been going on forever. It has 11 seasons. It's going on its 12th. Me being here since, I think it was on season 4 when I started like watching. I mean, I've watched all the way through, but I saw it when like season 4 was airing. I think it was maybe season 5, but I've been watching this for years now, and just the development of the TV show, of the characters being attached to the story, and Sam and Dean, and like, which are the 2 main characters. Like, it's just like such a rewarding show to watch, because there's like so many different things you can relate to, even though obviously, you know, it's not like a realistic show, it's sci-fi. But you know, at the beginning, the first 2 seasons, you think like, oh, it's gonna be just a typical like horror show where they're gonna like kill monsters or whatever, but like the story just develops so much more after that, and it's so worth the watch. My other favorite, so I guess this would be my first favorite as of right now, is The Flash. And it's just like such a good show, like so well put together. The characters are awesome, the actors are amazing. I just love everything on the CW basically. Supernatural and The Flash are on the CW, Arrow, iZombie, The 100, like these are all on the CW. The CW does a really great job with shows, and The Flash really shows that. They do a great job of, you know, bringing aspects of the comics into the storyline, you know, and like going about things in different ways, and not, you know, exactly following the comics, but it's just such a great show. Even if you haven't read the comics, I haven't read the comics. I've like looked stuff up online about like what, you know, what happens in the comics versus what happens in the TV show. But you really don't even need to like comics or anything like that to watch this show. Like, it's just such a good show. Special runner-up for special TV show though is Adventure Time. Adventure Time is such a good show, and I know it's a cartoon, and I know if you watch episodes like separately it's not gonna make sense, but if you watch them in order, it's just like such a great storyline. Like it's so good. Like the origin stories are so good, so like well planned out and put together, and honestly it could have been my top 3. It's just like so hard to choose with TV shows, but also Adventure Time, really good. My favorite movies. So obviously there are tons and tons, millions of movies in existence, but I narrowed it down to these 3 as either ones that have like impacted me in some way, or just like ones that I really thought were just amazing. So for my 3rd favorite, it's actually a trilogy, and it's the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. And I know a lot of people are probably gonna be like, why did you, what? And I feel like a lot of people are gonna be really confused as to why I put this on here. And to be honest, it's just like, for me personally, I just like always saw these movies when I was younger, and I don't know, I love like pirate stuff. Like I don't know what it is, but just the thought of like this kind of lifestyle, and just maybe it's just like this fantasized lifestyle that, you know, I see in these movies, but like it is so intriguing to me. And I know that that's not how like pirates actually were, or you know, you never know, but these movies are just so entertaining. I just love the storyline. Jack Sparrow is such a great character. I don't know, like I really love these movies for some reason. Like, okay, my 2nd favorite movie is The Social Network, and this movie I've seen so many times. Like I don't even know how many times I've seen it now, but it's so it's so good. It's so good. It's just the way it's put together, the actors. Jesse Eisenberg literally is the best Mark Zuckerberg, better than the actual Mark Zuckerberg. The production, the directing, just everything, the whole mood that it sets, like it's just so emotional, and you feel like, you know, this is like legit what happened, and like I don't know, it's crazy, and I love it. And then my 1st favorite is probably not going to be a shock to most people, but it's obviously the Star Wars like whole all of it. And I know a lot of people are like the first 3 or the second 3, but like episodes 1, 2, and 3 sucked. I can see where you're coming from, and honestly I probably wouldn't put those, you know, so like solely those 3 in my top 3 favorites, but because it's part of the whole story, like it, you know, I have to just take all of it, all 6 movies, and you know, and now actually all 7. I'm gonna include the 7th one because oh, that was such a good movie. Next is my favorite bands and artists. My 3rd favorite band / artist is Chance the Rapper. Obviously he's amazing. My 2nd favorite is Bad Sons, and they're a band from California. There's like such a great band to like vibe to, like so good, and like a vibe in like a good way, like vibe in like an upbeat kind of way. And then my top favorite band / artist is really obvious if you follow me anywhere, and it's The Neighborhood. The Neighborhood is such an emotional like band to listen to. Like all of their music is just so full of emotion. It's not, a lot of people that I've shown them to are hesitant because their sound is so almost like melodramatic, if that makes any sense. Like a lot of their music, a lot of their songs are like more of like a depressing vibe, but it's not like a depressing vibe that makes you like sad. It's kind of like a depressing, angry vibe, but like it makes you feel like they get you, like they know what you've gone through, and it's like so weird. Like when you listen to it, when I listened to it the first time, I was like, who are these people and why are they so upset about their lives? But the more I listened to their first album, the more I fell in love with it, and like they're definitely my favorite band now. And lastly, I'm gonna do my favorite video games. So I've played video games since I was 5 at the oldest, maybe before that. I'm gonna say 5. So you know, obviously it's hard to decide like what my favorite games are, just because I've played, you know, so many different kinds, but I mean, these obviously stick out. My third favorite, I'm gonna say, is Overwatch. I'm gonna put that as my third favorite because it's pretty new, but it's so fun. I'm obsessed with it. Secondly, I'm gonna put Animal Crossing. Now, I know people are probably gonna be like, what the heck, why are you putting Animal Crossing in your top 3? That was my life when it was out, okay? My life. I loved that game. I would wake up early before school just to play it. And third, I'm gonna say Black Ops 2. Only because, like, that was the first COD, because I did play MW2, but I don't know why, like, Black Ops 2, I like really got into the community. I really played like a ton. I played more Black Ops 2 than I did MW2, but just like I just lived on that game and I loved it and it was amazing. And I streamed it, and that's when I started YouTube too, and like it was just great, and I love that game. It's like very like, I don't know, it was just like, it really, I just like met a lot of people on that game, and it was just like really, it was just like an interesting experience. So yeah, those are my all-time favorites. Let me know if you want to see my Overwatch video, or if you want to see another Black Ops 3 video. Honestly, I've been thinking about going back on Black Ops 2. Make sure you follow me on Snapchat, which is NaturalEmblem26, Instagram, which is also NaturalEmblem26, and Twitter, which is just Natural Emblem. All the links will be in the description, and yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.